Hey guys, welcome to Eduporium classes. Myself Kakun. Okay, alright, sure, I understand. These are some of the polite ways to show that you are not only listening to someone, but at the same time you are also following what the others are trying to say. But is this just enough? In this video, we are going to catch up with some peppy words and phrases that can be replaced for I understand. Moreover, these words can be used in your daily conversation with so much ease you won't believe. So stay tuned. Now let's start with something which is very easy and which is commonly understandable, and that is of course. Of course I know him. Of course I know that she would visit me. Yes, of course, I know you are liking this video. The second most interesting word that I can replace for I understand is absolutely. Absolutely. I was absolutely sure that he is going to spend this weekend in Goa. I was absolutely terrified to see the accident. Absolutely is a very common word that can be used when you completely understand something or when you have complete knowledge of something. The third most suitable phrase for I understand is it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear. Now this is a phrase that can be used when something is easily understood or when something is clearly transparent or apparent. The hostel rules are crystal clear to the boys. The pilot was crystal clear in his directions. I am crystal clear about my thoughts. Before we move on to catch up the next phrase, don't miss out watching my next video, which will be all about IELTS Band 9 vocabulary. It will be covering 20 vocabulary words that are exclusively covered in the IELTS Band 9 syllabus. Don't miss it out. Now sometimes there is a situation when you have difficulty in understanding something in the first go, but in the second attempt or probably in the third attempt, the things are completely understandable. So in that situation, you use I got it now. I got it now. So if you are a student and you got certain difficulty in understanding some particular topic, but now you have complete understanding of it, you can very well say, it was pretty difficult for me to understand the light chapter of physics, but I got it now. Before moving ahead to the next part of the video, here is the quiz of the day. You are required to provide me the correct answer in the comment section and you get a chance to have your name flashed in my next video. Now let's quickly catch up with another interesting phrase, that is fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough is a very polite way to show that you understand someone and at the same time you respect his or her opinion. Now sometimes during the mid of my lecture, my student comes up with a new idea, and if I am completely convinced that his or her idea is absolutely correct, I always say, fair enough, you can go ahead. Fair enough. Another example can be, if I wash the dishes today, you can wash the dishes tomorrow. Will that be fair enough? And the reply from the other end could be fair enough. Before moving ahead, a big kudos to all the supporters for showing your love and gallons of support to Eduporium classes. Keep motivating through your shares, comments and likes. Now the next smart phrase coming on the way is get the hang of. Get the hang of. This is a phrase which is commonly used when you have finally learnt the necessary skills to do any process or to do any activity. It could be like, Meera is quite good at getting the hang of new techniques or let's say new gadgets. He is getting the hang of his new job. This is generally used if someone joins a new job and gradually he is getting control or he is getting expertise in his job. Then you say he is getting the hang of his new job. Sometimes the situation, the circumstances are so clear that instead of using the complicated I understand, the automatically word that comes from our mouth is that makes sense. That makes sense. Every word the teacher says makes sense to the students, or let's say every word the professor says makes sense to the students. It does not make sense not to wear a mask during pandemic. Another catchy phrase coming on the way is I buy your point. I buy your point. Now this is a phrase which is used to fix such situations in which you really don't agree with someone, but at the same time you try to show that you understand his or her point of view. I buy your point, but we cannot do much at this moment. So in this sentence, you actually express that you are trying to understand someone's point, but due to disagreement, you really can't help much. Second could be, am I buying your point correctly, ma'am? So if someone is trying to explain you some lesson or some subject and you are not sure that you are getting it right, you can also say like, am I buying your point correctly? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Now this is a phrase which is replaced for I understand when you try to show someone that you understand them, especially in a situation when they are really angry or upset or sad about something. It could be like, you are really becoming impatient, but I don't blame you. Now using this phrase, you are trying to pacify someone that you are understanding their level of impatience, especially when they are going through a bad phase. Another could be, I don't believe that we have lost him, but I don't blame you. I would feel the same. I would feel the same. Now this is another super catchy phrase that can be replaced for I understand, because this time you are not just understanding the person intellectually or emotionally, but at the same time you are also trying to express that you would also behave the same way in a similar situation. If I was made to travel a journey of 14 to 15 hours, I would feel the same. Now let's suppose you being a mom is continuously observing your child getting pissed off with all the assignments that the teacher is handing over during the online classes, then you can very well say, if I were made to do 4 to 5 assignments during a day, I would feel the same. Now here comes the phrase of the day, and that is to catch on. If you catch on to something, it means that the things are as clear as crystal to you, and you also realize that things are happening. If you are into the field of analysis or statistics and you are really good at that, you can very well quote and say, I tend to catch on statistics fairly quickly. If you have a brilliant and marvelous idea about something in your mind and you are quite confident that the idea is going to hit upon, you can say, to become popular, this idea has already caught on. Now another phrase coming on the way is to catch one's drift. To catch one's drift. Now this is a phrase which is used in a super smart way, generally at the end of the sentence, just like Lata Mangeshkar is someone you know very well. If you catch my drift. There are a few stories I could not even mention. If you catch my drift. Using this phrase, you always leave a clue to the other person, and it is up to them whether they catch your drift or not. Now 3 cheers to another super smart phrase, which is get the gist of something. Get the gist of something. This phrase is generally used when you get the central idea of something, even if you don't have an expertise in that situation or in that particular area or subject. Now imagine a situation that someone stranger, someone new to you is trying to make you explain certain topic, certain subject, and immediately they question you, are you sure you understand what's my point? So immediately in a super smart way you can convey, yeah, I get the gist. I get the gist. Now let's take the other situation round, that you don't understand what that stranger or what that new person is trying to explain you. So you can very politely question him, could you please repeat so that I can check if I get the gist of what you said? And here comes the last phrase of this video, which is to get the picture. To get the picture. Now being a teacher, I really have to be confident and well versed about whatever teaching I impart to my students. So before explaining anything to my students, I have to get a clear picture. Imagine a crime situation in which the police gets a clear picture by examining the forensic evidences. Now, if you have got the gist of the complete video, why don't you frame sentences on all the relevant phrases and comment below in the comment section? Stay tuned to Eduporium classes to watch more vocabulary videos coming on the way that would definitely enhance you like an advanced speaker.